Welcome to Blood Sugar Squad, your go-to channel for simple, actionable tips to manage diabetes and live your best life. Oatmeal, warm, comforting, filling, and practically synonymous with a healthy breakfast. But if you have diabetes, you may have a different question. Is oatmeal actually good for my blood sugar? Or is that healthy reputation hiding a problem? Today, we're going to look at what really matters when you eat oatmeal with diabetes, including which oats tend to produce a slower blood sugar response, why portion size matters, and how to build an oatmeal bowl that works with your blood sugar instead of against it. Segment 1. The Oatmeal Spectrum. Not all oatmeal is the same. The oat itself doesn't suddenly become a completely different food, but the way it's processed can change how quickly your body digests its starch. Steel-cut oats are made by cutting the whole oat groat into smaller pieces. They're relatively minimally processed and generally take longer to cook. Rolled oats, sometimes called old-fashioned oats, are steamed and flattened. They're quicker to prepare, but still retain much of the structure of the whole oat. Then you have quick cooking and instant oats. These are processed into smaller, thinner pieces and are often partially cooked before they reach your kitchen. That can make their starch easier and faster to digest. Studies comparing different oat products have found a similar pattern. Steel-cut and large flake oats tend to produce a lower glycemic response, while quick cooking and instant oatmeal can produce a higher response. This is where the glycemic index comes in. You don't need to memorize a number for every type of oatmeal. The basic idea is that foods digested more quickly can produce a faster rise in blood glucose. But the glycemic index isn't the whole story. Your portion size matters. Your toppings matter. What else you eat with the oatmeal matters. And your individual response can be very different from someone else's. So don't think of it as steel-cut good, instant bad. Think of it as a spectrum. Less processed oats generally give you a slower start, while highly processed oats may produce a faster glucose response. Oats also contain beta-glucan, a type of soluble fiber that can slow digestion and affect how glucose enters the bloodstream. Research suggests that oats and oat beta-glucan can modestly improve measures of glycemic control in people with type 2 diabetes. So yes, oatmeal has some legitimate nutritional advantages. The problem often begins with what happens after the oats leave the package. Segment 2. When healthy oatmeal goes wrong. Here's where a perfectly reasonable bowl of oatmeal can turn into a very different breakfast. Imagine starting with plain oats. Then you add brown sugar, honey, maple syrup, dried fruit, flavored creamer, and maybe some granola for crunch. None of those ingredients automatically makes a food bad, but together, they can dramatically increase the carbohydrate in the meal. A tablespoon of brown sugar adds roughly 12 grams of carbohydrate. A tablespoon of honey adds about 17 grams. And dried fruit can pack a lot of carbohydrate into a small serving because much of its water has been removed. So when you look at a bowl of oatmeal, don't just ask, are oats healthy? Ask, what exactly is in this bowl? There's also the portion problem. A reasonable serving of oats can be very different from a large bowl piled with carbohydrate-rich toppings. And that's why two people can eat what they both call oatmeal and have very different blood sugar responses. One person might eat a modest bowl of plain rolled oats with berries and nuts. Another might eat a giant bowl of instant flavored oatmeal topped with brown sugar, raisins, honey, and a banana. They're both eating oatmeal, but metabolically, those are two very different breakfasts. And remember, whole grain doesn't automatically mean won't raise your blood sugar. Oats still contain carbohydrate, so portions and your individual response matter. Instead of asking whether oatmeal is good or bad, let's build the bowl around the oatmeal. Segment 3. How to build a blood sugar-friendly oatmeal bowl. First, start with a reasonable portion of plain steel-cut or rolled oats. If you prefer instant oats because they're convenient, you don't necessarily have to give them up. Just recognize that more processed oats may produce a faster glucose response, making portion size and what you add even more important. Next, add a source of protein. That could be plain Greek yogurt on the side, nuts, seeds, or another protein source that fits your diet. An unsweetened protein powder can also be an option if that's something you already use and tolerate well. Then add healthy fats and fiber. Walnuts, almonds, chia seeds, and ground flaxseed can all contribute both. They also add texture and can make your breakfast more satisfying. Now bring in the fruit. Berries are an easy choice because they provide fiber and tend to be relatively low in carbohydrate compared with many other fruits. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries can all work. Notice what we're doing here. We're not trying to eliminate carbohydrates. We're trying to build a more balanced meal. And if you want your oatmeal sweeter, you don't automatically need to reach for brown sugar. Cinnamon can add flavor without adding meaningful carbohydrate. And if you're looking for a sugar-free sweetener, there are a few options worth considering, including stevia, monk fruit, and allulose. We did a separate video comparing those sweeteners and how they may fit into a diabetes-friendly diet. I'll link that video at the end if you want to take a closer look before deciding which one is right for you. There's one more useful strategy. Pay attention to your own glucose response. If you use a CGM or regularly check your blood sugar, your own data can help you learn how different oatmeal combinations affect you. Try keeping your portion consistent and changing one thing at a time. You may find that steel-cut oats work better for you than instant oats, or that adding Greek yogurt, nuts, or seeds changes your response. You might even discover that oatmeal simply doesn't work particularly well for your blood sugar. That's okay too. The goal isn't to force oatmeal into your diet because someone called it a superfood. The goal is to find breakfasts you enjoy that also work with your diabetes management. Segment 4. What about overnight oats? The basic idea is simple. Instead of cooking your oats, you soak them in liquid overnight and eat them cold or gently warmed the next morning. That doesn't automatically make them better for diabetes. The biggest advantage of overnight oats may actually be what you put into them. You can combine oats with plain Greek yogurt, chia seeds, flaxseed, berries, and unsweetened milk to create a balanced meal. But don't assume that overnight means free. If your overnight oats are loaded with sweetened yogurt, honey, maple syrup, dried fruit, or flavored milk, you can still end up with a carbohydrate-heavy breakfast. So don't get too caught up in whether your oatmeal is hot or cold. The bigger questions are still the same. How much are you eating? What type of oats are you using? And what else is in the bowl? If you enjoy overnight oats, there's no reason to avoid them simply because you have diabetes. Build them the same way you would build a smart bowl of cooked oatmeal. Segment 5. Final thoughts. So, is oatmeal good for people with diabetes? The answer is yes, it can be. But the better question is, what kind of oatmeal? How much? And what are you putting in it? Less processed oats, such as steel-cut and traditional rolled oats, generally produce a slower glycemic response than quick cooking and instant oats. Oats also contain beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that has been studied for its effects on blood glucose and metabolic health. But even a nutritious food can become a very different meal when you add large portions and lots of sugar. So build your bowl around balance. Start with a reasonable portion of oats. Add protein. Add nuts or seeds for healthy fats and fiber. Choose whole fruit, especially berries, instead of large amounts of dried fruit. And most importantly, pay attention to your own response. Because when it comes to diabetes, your blood sugar doesn't care what the package says is healthy. What are your thoughts about oatmeal? Comment below and please share this video with someone who loves oatmeal but isn't sure how it fits into a diabetes-friendly diet. Until next time, stay strong, stay sweet, but not too sweet, and keep thriving with the Blood Sugar Squad.